Ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dan and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the most weirdest and downright WTF moments of horror theories. There's literally thousands of them out there, and today I thought I'd just show you some of my favorites and we'll discuss just a few of them of what I think they are and if they actually go well with the movie. So let's jump on in. Obviously, we are going to start with possibly one of the greatest, if not the greatest, horror movie ever made, and that is 1978's Halloween by John Carpenter. So, as you can see, Psycho Sam Loomis is Halloween's Dr. Loomis. So the theory goes that after what happened at the Bates Motel, Psycho Sam Loomis dedicated his life to psychiatry and started working at Smith's Grove in Haddonfield, where Michael Myers was. Michael Myers reminds him of Norman Bates, which is why he's so obsessed with him. Well, for this one, I was actually a little bit thinking about it, saying, you know what, it could work out, mostly because obviously Sam Loomis in Psycho, he was a little bit younger, but then he wouldn't have aged this much by the time 1978 comes around. And to be honest with you, the time frame doesn't exactly match up with it. Psycho happened in 1960, while Michael Myers was actually committed to Smith's Grove in 1973. So it doesn't really line up with that one. Overall though, it is a good theory, but I can't see this one happening at all. Our second theory, folks, is regarding Evil Dead 2 and everything that happened afterwards. So this is the theory that Army of Darkness was all in Ash's head and he went insane at the cabin. Ash lost his mind halfway through Evil Dead 2, which explains the tone shift from all-out horror to literally a Three Stooges show. The events of time travel and leading an army were all figments of his broken mind. This could be another good one, but this means that the comic series, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash never happened, even though that is canon. Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the TV show, that never happened. And to be honest with you, if it is all part of your imagination, you wouldn't make yourself to be some kind of lowlife in the Evil Dead series. So with this one, obviously it is a bit of a hoo-ha because, well, the tone shift in Evil Dead 2 does go from straight out horror to literally just comedy slapstick. When his hand gets possessed, he's hitting himself with all the plates, doing the flip, and obviously who can forget the little dance he does with the light when he's going up and down. So with that, it's, to me, doesn't happen, doesn't actually work with the theory either. So this is more than likely one of my favorite theories ever, and this is that Freddy Kruger is Nancy Thompson's real father. Obviously, there's a whole host of things here. We actually got two slides, which we are going to go over. The theory states that Freddy is getting his revenge on his murderers, but also on Nancy's mother, for hiding the fact that he is Nancy's real father. Out of all the children he kills and tortures, Nancy seems more personal than the others, which they do. Another part of the theory suggests that because Nancy's mother kept the glove, this could show that she had more of a connection with Freddy than the other parents. When I first heard this a while ago as well, I was thinking, you know what, this actually seems logical. Mostly because, well, first of all, why would her mother keep the glove? Why hasn't the police got it? Yes, we know that the vigilante of the town, they all went and got Freddy and they burned him to death, and that is how he gets this look. But overall, it's like, maybe before Fred was done, he could have had an affair with Nancy's mother. And especially how Nightmare on Elm Street ends as well with, well, I think it ends with the mother going into the bed. That's me. I don't think the ending works at all. Because you see the mother go into the bed, into the dream space. You got her father as well. He's there. They're watching it. And next thing you know, everything is fine. That's why I don't think that works well. But if Nancy's mother did have an affair with Freddy, this could be one of the reasons why she kept the glove. It's got some kind of sentimental connection to her. For all we know, she could have found out what he was doing in the basement of the school, and that's why all the people started going after him. Hell, ex-husband, cop, You know, kind of writes itself, doesn't it? So for me, at this moment, I do like this theory, and I would actually love this to be true. Our next theory, folks, goes into Event Horizon. And the theory is stating that Event Horizon is set in the Hellraiser universe. The sphere that unlocks the portal above Event Horizon shows that you do not need the Lamont configuration to open the door to Leviathan and the Cenobites. Both entities like to torture their victims in sadomasochistic ways, which, if you look at Dr. Weir towards the end of Event Horizon, he actually looks like the Cenobites when they're in the Hellraiser comic. Hell, you could even say that in real life, while aboard Event Horizon, he does actually look like a Cenobite anyway. But obviously, he's not exactly in the BDSM, the leather outfits, he hasn't got any of that on him. But it does show that, you know, to open a portal to hell, which is what they're calling it, the Cenobites, they just use the Lamont configuration. That could just be one thing. Hell, we saw in Hellraiser 2 Hellbound, Dr. Shanad, he had multiple boxes. Maybe there's other ways to open these portals, and the sphere above Event Horizon is just another way to do it. Because first of all, why did Dr. Weir make that? Yes, he wanted to make space travel a lot quicker, but when you look at it, it makes you think, was he actually getting any help from the Hell area to be like, you have to make this, we have to get people here? And it's sad that we're not going to get the actual director's cut or the unrated version of Event Horizon, which shows the blood orgy and all this kind of stuff, because in that, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot more showing what these creatures look like after Hell has taken them over. Now, this one is, when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, this could actually be hysterical. And as you can see, Kevin McAllister grew up to be Jigsaw from the Saw franchise. You never know. Due to the nature of how Kevin takes out the wet bandits in both movies, as his thirst for unserved justice takes him into adulthood, where seeing the bad people go unpunished, he returns to his younger ways of dealing out the justice and basically becomes Jigsaw. So obviously in the Saw franchise, we see why John Kramer does turn into Jigsaw with Cecile, and how he he literally made his wife lose their baby. That's why he went into that. But Kevin McAllister, for a 10-year-old, look at the stuff that boy does to the wet bandits. You know, electrocuting them, throwing bricks at them. Hell, I'm surprised they want any glass breaking. You know, putting fire into kerosene toilets and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in Home Alone which goes, ooh, that's nasty. And when you grow older, you just kind of make it better. Hell, even in the Home Alone reboot they did, Kevin McAllister has his own security firm. You never know, could turn into Jigsaw. But yeah, this one is just baloney, and I just found it really funny. I had to put it in here. Another one I had to put in here is obviously that Stu Macher is currently alive in the Scream universe. So the theory goes that even though Sidney dropped the large TV set onto Stu and it looked like he was killed in Scream, Stu survived it and has been the mastermind behind every single Ghost Fit attack ever since. And what is the reason for this theory? Well, Scream 3 was actually supposed to revolve around Stu being alive and actually masterminding everything while he's in prison. Sadly though, there was horrific events with Columbine and the effects of movie violence in general, where the story for Scream 3 was completely changed with Stu's character being written out completely. But also in Scream 6, when Mindy and Kirby are talking, Mindy does state, if you actually believe he is dead. So for me, when this came out, because it was actually like in the early 2000s when people started knowing that Stu was meant to be the main mastermind behind everything from his prison cell in Scream 3. That's what the story was. And to be honest with you, I fucking love that. I think that would be absolutely amazing. And seeing that they had to change everything, they had to stop Columbine because obviously that is just a tragic event, but they were also looking at violence in movies in general. And if you watch Scream 3 compared to the others, it's not that violent. There's not a lot of killings, there's not a lot of blood or gore, and if there is, it's mostly happening either out of shot or it's being obscured by someone's body. And that kind of ruins Scream 3. especially when you look at Scream 4, where Scream 4 in the UK was actually rated a 15 compared to the 18 of the first three, and number 4 has actually got a lot more violence in, especially when Teddy from Hang Time gets the knife in his head. So it's a little bit like, oh right, okay. So violence obviously 10 years later was coming down. But with this one, Stu's also cast in Scream 7, where we are getting a trailer very soon. I can't wait for that. And to be honest with you, I want this to be the actual realist theory to come true. I would love it if Stu Macher is alive. I would love it. Our last theory, folks, is that in Annabelle Creation, there's actually 2 demons, Malthus and Valak. So the theory is that Sister Charlotte is possessed by Valak. Malthus is the demon inside the Annabelle doll, which is in a makeshift jail surrounded by Bible pages. And this is what people are going on about, though, is how was Malthus able to create noises and the notes for the children to find if he couldn't get out of the makeshift jail? Sister Charlotte also has the photo of her at the monastery where Valak killed all the nuns 3 years prior to the date of Annabelle Creation. And Mr. Mullins sees Valak in the photo and he says to Sister Charlotte, "Who's this?" "Oh, don't worry, I don't know that person." If you're in that monastery with all those other nuns, they were all close. Hell, the nun even shows that they were all together, that all the nuns were killed who were there, and obviously Sister Charlotte was there 3 years prior to Annabelle Creation. Was she one to get out alive? Did she leave? Who knows? But having this, that there's actually 2 demons in Annabelle Creation, especially when they go and say the evil's contained in this makeshift jail with Bible pages, it's blessed, it's got the holy water, the vicar and judges and all this come out for it. The judges, you know what I mean, the priests, they all come out, and when you look at it and thinking, right, okay then, it can get out, but it's leaving notes and making noises around the house. So technically Malthus and the doll could get out. There's something not right with that one there. But that's one of the theories. It would be a cool theory if it was real, but with this one, having Sister Charlotte just being Valak, it just makes the story plot holes a little bit better to be like, oh, we're closing them a little bit, but not much. Hell, when you see the girl in the wheelchair being rolled out, there's a nun wheeling her, and from when you look down at the girl's perspective, it doesn't exactly look like Sister Charlotte. It could be Valak. Well, that's what we got by here, folks. So let us know what you think of all these theories down below. I will be making more like this for the channel going forward, because this is more fun. I love horror. Horror is my #1 thing. So folks, like and subscribe. And my name is Dan. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.